boys and girls, it's Miss Jackson. I'm missing you, and I am doing great, and I'm staying healthy. I'm staying at home, and I'm spending time with my dogs and eating lots of food. So Miss Jackson is going to be fatter when you see her next year. So anyways, what I wanted to start today was a review of some of the things that we've done in class today, in our class. First of all, this is called a staff, and a staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. This particular staff is what we call a grand staff, because as you can see, it has 2 staffs put together, and there's a line that goes down the one side, and then a little bracket that goes down this side. So on a grand staff, on the first staff, you would see a treble clef. Now the treble clef tells me that the names of the lines and spaces are, the spaces would be F-A-C-E, which spells face, or the lines would be E-G-B-D-F, or every good boy does fine. So take some time to remember that E-G-B-D-F is the names of our lines, and F-A-C-E spells face. On the bottom of the grand staff, you would see what's called the bass clef. Now the bass clef is lower notes, and the spaces and the lines are spelled differently. So the spaces in bass clef are all cows eat grass, A-C-E-G. And the lines are good boys do fine always, G-B-D-F-A. So as you can see, the notes change. So you got to be careful when you're looking at your music. Make sure you double check to see if you're reading in treble clef or if you're reading in bass clef. Another thing that you might see at the beginning of a staff would be what's called a sharp. Some people would call this a hashtag or a number symbol, but in music it's called a sharp, and what it does is it takes a note and it raises up a half step. So if I sing la, then I've just sharped the note. I made it higher. The opposite of sharp would be flat. So I could take the same note, la, and go down a half step. I flatten it out. Another thing you might see written within the music, you usually don't see them at the beginning of the staff, but you might see it written within the music, and this is called a natural sign. This says, hey, if you were a sharp or if you were a flat, I want you to go back and I want you to be a normal note. So if my normal note were la, that's the sound of my normal note. If it was a note that was la, that was a sharp, then I would say, and I saw one of these, I would say, go back to the normal note, la. So a sharp is just the normal white key of a piano, the normal note. The next things that you would see at the beginning of a staff would be time signatures. Time signatures are very important because they tell us how many beats we're going to get in each measure. And if you don't know how many beats you're going to get in each measure, you're going to get confused when it's time to count. So a 4, 4, a 4 and a 4 on top of each other. The top 4 tells me this is the number of beats I'm going to get per measure. And remember, a measure is everything between bar line and bar lines. The bottom note, the 4, always represents the quarter note. It always tells me that the quarter note gets the beat, or the ta, if you're used to hearing ta for quarter note. Another time signature you might see is 3-4. There are other time signatures. There's 2-4, there's 6-8, and 6-8 is a little bit more complicated because the 8 is the 8th note, but the 8th note gets 1 beat, not the quarter note. So that changes all the note values of what we are used to when we are in 4-4, 3-4, or 2-4. Another symbol you might see on the staff is what we call a repeat sign. A repeat sign says, hey, go back and do that again. It saves the composer the time of having to rewrite what they wanted you to do, again. So they came up with a symbol that says repeat. So sometimes you might see a repeat sign at the very beginning of your staff, or you might see one at the very end of the staff. So then you would only repeat what was in between the 2 repeat signs. If there's no repeat sign at the beginning, then you just repeat the whole thing. Another symbol you would see is this cute little guy. Some people call this a bird's eye, but its actual name is called a fermata. A fermata takes a note and it makes it longer sounding. So let's say I had a whole note, which was worth 4 beats. and I put a fermata on top of it. Now I would want to hold that whole note out for maybe 8 beats. Or the conductor can choose to hold it out for even longer than 8 beats. It just depends on what the conductor feels like doing. So fermata just means you have to hold out the note for longer than its note value. Another note you might see is what's called a staccato. Now here's a quarter note, and it's got a little dot underneath it. Now that dot tells me that I want that note to be very short. I want da, 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 da. I don't want da, 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 da. The composer wants that note very short, very staccato. Another symbol you might see is a very important symbol, because this is called the double bar line. This is the part that's always at the end of the song, and it always tells me, hey, song is over. Don't go back and do anything else. Let's end the song. If you don't see a double bar line, song's not over. So you got to keep looking for where you need to go and repeat, or find a first and second ending or whatever. But until you see one of these, the song is not over. Now next year, guys, at least with Adams, who may be seeing this, we're getting roll-up pianos. So we're going to be doing some piano skills. So, patterns, note patterns in a piano have patterns of 2 black keys. I can't get this right. 2 black keys, then 3 black keys. 2 black keys, then 3 black keys. And if you'll notice that in between the 2 pages there, there's a white note that does not have a black key in between it, because we skip a part. So let's look at this, the two black keys. This one right here, this little white key, this is called middle C. Now middle C, then it would go to D, then it would go to E. Now the black keys, those are the notes that make it sharp, like we talked about, or we make it flat. So if this is C and I go up to the black key, then I'm going to C sharp. So I'm making it higher. But if I go down, then I would be going to a different note. It would not be a black key. If I want to go to D, and let's say I want to go, let's go flat. So I want to go D, I would go over here to this black key, and it would flatten it. I wouldn't come up, I wouldn't go above it. I wouldn't go next up the D, because that would make it sharp. I have to go down to make it flat. So this would be C, C sharp, D, or this could be D flat, or D sharp. Oh, you know what? I think I'm messing this up. This is C, this is C sharp. If this is D, then this would be D flat, because we're going lower. If I were going D and then I was going up to the next black key, then yes, then I would be going to D sharp. Then I would go to E. If I wanted to go down from E, then I would go to E flat. So it's kind of hard to see these when it's upside down, so I apologize for my mistakes. So hopefully you understand that. And this is the pattern of 2 keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys, over and over all the way up the piano. So we'll get more of that instruction hopefully at the beginning of next year when we get our pianos. So I'm looking forward to teaching you some basic skills with that. So that is all the music symbols that I wanted to teach you for right now, at least for this video, and we'll teach you some more. So I need to give you all a high five. Way to go. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to see you in August. I hate that I can't see you now. So I hope that you are enjoying these videos, and I wish I could see you, but at least you get to see me, and you get to see me in my bedroom. This is my bedroom. So anyways, you take care, keep up the good work, keep your practicing, and have a wonderful summer, and enjoy yourselves, and stay healthy, please. Thank you.